You got a copy of the resolution on the consent agenda for the establishment of the Animal Services Foundation. Let me take a look at it right quick. That's one thing I got something about over this. They're going to be a 501c3. They're going to be a 501c3.
That doesn't mean that
They're going to be a 501c3. That means they'll have their own board and have to take care of their own money.
they're working under the auspices of this board, right?
No, they're going to be a 501c3. They're going to be their own board,
Why are we doing the resolution?
supporting them,
Huh?
just supporting the fact that they're going to do it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me welcome you to the Burke County Board of Commissioners regular meeting here on Tuesday, March 17, 2020, St. Patrick's Day. Great day for us. Madam Clerk, well, before I begin, let me say one thing. We are living in some unusual times, as witnessed here tonight. We're doing social distancing. We're well over 6 foot apart, I think. So it's a little bit different. And with that said, I don't know what else to say. It's just totally different. Madam Clerk, all the commissioners are here. Gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen in the audience, if you would check your mobile devices, please put those on silent for me if you would. And if you are a speaker tonight, please, when you come to the table, be sure to activate the microphone. Tonight, Commissioner Jeff Britton's going to do our invocation, and then right after that, our Pledge of Allegiance will be done by the Vice Chair. So if you'll stand with me, Jeff, if you would.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together that we can come as a local government body to consider the work here in Burke County. Lord, we thank you for the privilege of being able to serve. We thank you for allowing us to live here in this beautiful part of our country. Lord, we do know tonight that there are unusual things about us, and Lord, we know that you're in control of every one of them. Lord, we pray that your hand would continue to move throughout our state and country and around the world in regard to the virus that we're all concerned about. Lord, we pray that you would bless those who have been afflicted by it. Lord, may they know your healing. And Lord, we pray that we will continue to improve and this virus will come to an end soon. Be with us now as we go through this meeting. Give us wisdom and guide us in all that we do. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand at attention. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, gentlemen, you've had the agenda in front of you for several days now. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Wayne. Everybody's heard Wayne's motion. All in favor signify by raising of the right hands. Madam Clerk, that will be 5-0. We have minutes in front of us tonight, gentlemen, from August the 20th, 2019, our regular meeting, and from September the 3rd, 2019, a pre-agenda meeting. If there's not any additions or corrections, we'll entertain a motion on those.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that both minutes from August 20th and September 3rd of 2019 be approved as rendered.
All right, gentlemen, you heard Commissioner Toll's motion. All in favor signify by raising of the right hand. Madam Clerk, that will be 5-0. Moving on to presentations. Our first presentation tonight is our pet of the month. Ashton here.
She's going to show a video.
She's going to show a video. Okay, Ashton. Show your video.
Hi, my name is Lindsay. I'm with Burke County Animal Services. I have Doc with me today. Doc is an adorable 3 to 4 year old lab mix. He's super, super sweet. He loves people. He loves belly rubs the most. He'll paw you to get your attention if he's not done with his belly rubs. He has the best ears ever. He has one that goes up and one that goes down. And we just love Doc here. He would love a family that would take him on a walk or take him on hikes. He's also pretty lazy. He just wants to lay on a bed all day. So if you can give Doc the life that he wants, please come by and meet him at our shelter. This is Lexus, a young female cat. She's a beautiful calico. She loves people and other cats and is just a bundle of fun. She loves to be petted, and she's super, super sweet and playful. Please come by and meet Lexus at Burke County Animal Services. Doc also has an important announcement about COVID-19 that he wanted me to share with you guys. It is not contracted or transferred by pets, so we are still operating here at the shelter, and our pets are still looking for their forever homes or foster homes. And if anyone needs resources in dealing with this uncertain time, please give us a call, and we'll be happy to give you some resources for things you may need, like pet food or boarding or that kind of thing. Our number is 828-764-9588.
All right, thank you so much. And for those of you that are watching from home, we encourage you to go by Animal Services Center and adopt Doc and Lexus the cat if you can. All right, moving on to our next presentation from Finance will be the presentation of the fiscal year 18-19 audit. That will be presented by Scott Cook, our Deputy Finance Director, and representatives from Loudermilk and Church. Gentlemen, if you'll all come forward, one or two of you. And as each of you speak, if you'll slide that microphone back and forth between you.
I think
Thank
everyone
you.
knows Rick Hammer and Phil Church are auditors, so I'll just leave it to them.
Is it on?
Yep.
Let me see if I can figure it. You going first? Where you first?
Oh,
You want to turn it over to us. Chairman, Commissioners, appreciate the opportunity to be with you again tonight to present the June 30th, 2019 audit. I'm going to make a couple of comments about the audit, and then I'll turn it over to Rick Hammer to go over the numbers with you, which is the highlights. We did give you a clean, unmodified opinion on your financial statements, and we also gave you a clean, unmodified opinion on your compliance reports, which is the use of your state and federal funds. And you had what we call an A133 audit, which is because of the level of your funding. It has gone to the local government commission. They've approved it also. These highlights that, and as we go through this, if you have a question, stop us. We'll do our best to try to answer it for you. And the financial highlights are prepared on the modified accrual basis of accounting, which is, of course, the way you budget, somewhat like cash in, cash out basis. So I'll turn it over to Rick. He can go over the numbers with you, and like I said, we'll try to answer any questions you might have.
I think everybody's familiar with the highlight sheet. It's a comparative, so you have June 30 of 2019 and then also 2018 numbers, so you can see any changes. The top portion is your general fund. This is your operating, your main operating fund. You had cash and investments at June 30, of $26,713,854, and total assets of just under $33 million. The unassigned fund balance, which is the fund balance that's available, it was $16,987,127. You took in about $79.5 million in revenues during the year and had expenditures of just over $81 million. You also had some transfers in from other funds to cover bond payments and such. That was just under $4 million. So you had a increase in fund balance of about $2.4 million, and a lot of that was due to unfinished projects. The money was still there waiting to be used for those projects. Included in the revenue number above was your ad valorem taxes. The current year levy, you collected $45,988,431, and that was 98.2% of the levy. And you also had some investment income during the year of $626,920. The next section is the proprietary funds. This is your water and sewer fund and your waste disposal and collection funds. You had about $2.4 million in cash and investments at the end of June in those funds. And total assets, including your fixed assets, property and equipment and such, was $20,789,300. And the net position, or the equity at the end of June and all those funds combined, was $13,900,099. You had operating revenues of about $6.9 million. Operating expense was about $7.5 million. And then you had some non-operating revenues of about $160,000. You transferred out a net amount of $98,141 to other funds. So you had a decrease in the net position for the year ending June 30 of $538,043. A couple other numbers of interest. Your accounts receivable, which was included in the asset number. At the end of June, your account receivable was $678,356. And you had some investment income in these funds of about $32,000. The last section is all your other governmental funds, the capital project funds, 911 fund, all those sort of things. Cash and investments in those funds was $15,218,648. And you also had some cash with the physical agent from your bond proceeds. At the end of June, you had about $7 million in cash with the physical agent. So your total assets for all those funds combined was $26,191,074. And the fund balance at the end of June for all those funds combined was just over $24 million. Total revenues was $14,811,099, and total expenditures was just over $25 million. You also transferred monies out mostly to the general fund from those funds. Transfer was $3,784,936. So you had a decrease in all those funds combined, a decrease in fund balance of $14,084,617. The second page is the fund balance available for the general fund. We always sort of break that out to give you an idea of where you stand. So your unassigned fund balance in the general fund at the end of June was $16,987,127. And you divide that by your expenditures and financing uses, that was just over $84 million. So your unassigned fund balance percentage at the end of June was 20.17%. And then the last number there is your population group is 50 to 999,000 population. That average for those counties is 37.72%. So you can see where you stand in your group.
All right, gentlemen, any questions or comments for Rick?
Mr. Chairman, I have several. First one is on page 98 of our pamphlet. I don't know what page that'll be on yours. I didn't copy that down. Anyhow, it talks about a couple of things, and one of them's a good thing, and I just wonder why we could be that far off.
98.
But the revenues that are given there is 79,492,889, which was 2,230,043 $2,230,043, which is over what we had originally budgeted. But one of the areas in there also has a donation of $4,000, and the donation it's got two figures. It says a final and an actual amount, but $286,400. And I just wonder when y'all do that and you hit numbers that are wide apart like that.
Can you tell page 98 you said?
Well, that's his page. I'm not sure. What's the title of this?
What's the
Wait a
statement
minute,
called?
wait a minute. I can do it. 16, page 16.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
sorry, I
16,
forgot I could do that.
16. Okay. Okay.
So where's, yeah, you're asking about the donation line?
Yes. And the thing is not, I'm just, why is that so large? And when you have a difference that much in your numbers, it looks like to me, if I were you, it'd raise a red flag and say, how'd that happen?
So the original budget was $4,000, and then you all had amended it during the year to $286,400, and then the actual was $289,505. I don't recall what,
I don't remember what that was.
I don't recall
I
what
don't
that was.
recall. Do you know what that is?
I don't remember why there was such a big change. I'd have to go back and look at that.
You know, that's such a huge number to the good.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You
too,
understand, to the good.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder why it does. And then the next page, 99, and I just wanted to point out, and this is more for this board than it is you on a question, that it's notable to note that the 1 cent school tax netted $427,489 more, which was at $5,294,238, and the half cent was $2,827,006. And the reason, gentlemen, I bring that to your attention is simply because we have finally got back up to where we were before we started this, I guess you would say the 2000 recession or whatever that went down. So, and we need to think of that when we're doing the budget, because obviously we can, we ought to be able to alter that a little bit. The next page is 121, and that is, hold on, I'll get there. That is 39 on your page. And I'm looking at year 22 to 23. This is, this is about pensions, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just looking at year 22 to 23. It almost doubles. Is there an explanation for that?
No, this is actually the law enforcement separation allowance, and that the actuaries do this calculation, and then we just rely on their information. So they give us the breakdown of how it's going to be spent out or how it's going to mature. So I'm not sure why it goes from $6,083 to $11,513. I have no idea on that.
We have to order a study from them each year just for.
I can't hear you.
We have to order a study just for this next section.
McDonald does this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kavanaugh McDonald does this actuarial study. You give them the numbers and they project out to what they think it's gonna be. I mean, a 30-year, in a 30-year period.
Well,
You get
yeah.
the number of law enforcement officers, and they're kind of projecting, kind of predicting who's going to, the amounts it's going to cost us on that expense later on down the road. It's, they're kind of guessing at it, especially since
It's not on-
So is this
it's on the full
aligned
accrual
with the
basis
jail
of the
by
county.
adding all those officers and the pension amount is gonna double?
I'm not sure if I know this is for the sheriff and the deputies. I'm not sure if the jail is actually law enforcement or not. I don't think they are. So it'd just be the deputies. But the county provides the human resource, and Margaret, they all provide information to Kavanaugh, and they do an actuarial study every year on this separation allowance.
Those numbers get put on your full accrual basis of accounting, which is under GASB 34.
Well, he's just wondering why this double
Yeah,
right here.
but, yeah, they don't show in the highlights we gave you, but they get booked as a liability.
Say that
Sometimes
again.
these numbers get put on your full accrual financial statements, which is the financial statements that are prepared like a business would prepare. The numbers we gave you is the way you budget, which is the modified accrual basis of accounting. The GASB 34 financials are the first 2 pages in your report, which is not what we usually go over.
So it's not a mistake, it's gonna happen, that's what you're saying.
Mhm.
I mean, these numbers are gonna happen? I mean, that's a
Well, we don't know.
projection. That's
It's-
just, they project it.
You never know what these actuaries do these things, you just don't know. I mean, they project out for years what they think it's gonna be, and we use their numbers.
Page 133. Our total indebtedness, according to that page, is 94,724,677. Is that correct?
That's for the governmental activities, not the water, sewer, and waste collection disposal. That's not included in that number, the 94 million.
If you look down those statements, you'll see, you see that number you just alluded to previously, the 1,921,887 that you were asking about earlier on the other page. Was it 39, Rick? See, this is the full accrual numbers that go on your balance sheet. When you do the governmental type, that's on the modified accrual, those numbers aren't on that balance sheet because you're cash in, cash out. But this is just giving you, what this is doing is trying to give you some numbers that's like a business would be. And there's debt,
You've got it nicely categorized there, but one of the questions I had at that $95 million, that doesn't include the school board debt, does it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
It does.
If that second number, that 61 million,
61 million.
985,000 notes and from direct borrowings and direct placements, that includes all the school debt. Any of your general obligations are included in there. If you look over on if you flip back about 4 pages, our page 48, it's got all the notes on here. And it totals 61,985,000. The first subtotal there, it shows you all the debt in there. So you've got debt for the community college, you've got debt for the refunding, the certificates of participation, obligation bonds, all that stuff's in there, in that 61 million. No, that's why you have a big net there.
And that covers through 2038. That doesn't cover the end of the jail loan, which goes through, I guess, 3940. But that, in your estimation, that is an accurate number of around $94 million is what Burke
Yes.
County owes?
Yes,
one
it's
form or
your,
the other.
your general debt, your compensated absences, your retirement, projected out what the retirement, it's all of those numbers together, the 94 million.
I asked you a hypothetical question then. Are you familiar enough with other counties? How do we line up with other counties on indebtedness? And
Well, we gave you your, we usually look at it how you stand with your fund balance, and we gave you that percentage.
But no, I didn't do that.
I don't know, we'd have to go look at, go back and do a comparison to other counties as far as debt.
page 152, thank you. Which is page 68, I think, to you. Well, I do not see it. Page 152. Jail Justice Center.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, could I get you to hand these, or you can come pick them up. You can give them all three. I was called bad names, and I wanted to make sure that we get it right. That sheet in front of you on the left column is the total cost as has been given to me. I do have another sheet that says there is more yet to be charged to the jail. And you can, this is from Margaret, our finance director. These two figures here is 1233 and also 65 for architects. And I don't know if that that goes in there or not. The numbers that were used before and given to me before was $22,000 for the debt, and I rearranged this to take it off from the total cost. I put the amount financed at $20,000, and the Sally Port at $1298. Transport vehicles $216,000. Already paid from general fund $2,322,517. An original issue premium of $1,774. Subtotal to date cost is $25,611,304. for those figures. And then you add the interest to it, it comes to a total of $34,340,274.83. And those figures across the right is what I was given, and Scott has those figures that was given to me by Margaret. But the total cost, and this is not the cost of the jail, this is the impact the figures had on the budget, and this was done during our budget stuff. Because we took $2 million off from what we had, that brings your debt averaging down to $1,436,919. The additional staff is still at 1,885, 104.76. And when we first did this, you people recall, we did 35 additional staff. Well, we changed that from 35 to 38. And the sheriff told me twice, and within the last month or so, that he's going to need 55, and we're supposed to give him up to 43 again in just a few weeks or months. And that will change these figures all together again, because the numbers will go up. And all this is just to assure that these numbers, when I redid them and took the 2,000 out, it still comes up for a 20-year payout at $72,051,799. And if you go 20 years, it's $77,012. $77,012,581. The thing that makes that so important is that we have cranked these numbers and done them, and they have used the numbers to try to discredit and disclaim some of it. And what I'd like for you to do is look at that and tell me if that total cost of $34,340 is an accurate amount.
Well, I don't know what the Sally Port cost is and the transport vehicles. I don't have any information on that. I can just show you, I can tell
If
you
you
the
look at
cost.
that page that I just gave Scott, it'll have it on it.
We can tell you what we audited at the end of June 19, which was the budget at that time, the revenue that came in and the expenses. Now, these projected numbers out, that is not something that we would do.
Well,
That would be an internal thing
Yeah, and we would not
that your staff would
typically,
do.
unless we were direct requested, project out personnel costs over, you may go out a couple years, but typically we wouldn't go out farther than that because it's a difficult, you can imagine, Commissioners, a difficult computation. It's a lot of factors. The more years you go out, the further it's going to differ from your projections. So.
I did not expect an immediate response to that question.
Sorry.
So, but I would like it looked at, and I would like you to at least make a comment. Well, this looks good, it looks bad, or you're wrong, and you need to change this. That's all I want.
I don't think I could say that.
All right.
It's too complicated to sit
right.
here and.
The last thing is on page 175. And it had to do with total county revenue. And folks, if you think your taxes are not up, guess again. In 10 years, Your revenue, Burke County, is up $23 million. It's not my figures, that's them guys' figures.
What page are you
What
on?
page are you on? Are
For
you-
our book, in our book.
90, I believe, is your page.
That's the statistical section, which those are numbers that the staff give us. They're unaudited numbers. That's just to get, usually you do these statistical things when you're going after to be a CAFR report. And you did not do that this year. That's the reason these statistics are in here, to do a CAFR report.
You don't make an opinion on them.
Do what?
We don't opinion on them.
Yeah, they're not, we don't have an opinion on these numbers. These are just prepared for information to you folks.
Okay,
Don't say unaudited.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're wrong. No. We said independent. We said independent, so.
oh, and I didn't finish my sentence, I'm sorry. However, expenses for the same period's up over 45 million. That's the comparison I wanted you to look at. Mr. Chairman, I yield the floor back to you.
Any other questions or comments that are germane to what's in front of us at this time? All right, hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
All right, the director and the representatives from Loudon Church, we thank you so very much, and your report is accepted as presented. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, moving on to item number 7 tonight is our scheduled public hearings, and we have none. So we'll move on to...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you all didn't take a vote on approval of the
I'm
budget.
so sorry. All right, we had the motion to accept the report as presented. I apologize, I got distracted there on something else. All in favor of the report being accepted, raise your right hands. That will be 5-0, Madam Clerk. I'm sorry. Now moving on to 7, scheduled public hearings, none, and then to number 8, informal public comments. Madam Clerk, anybody signed up?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have 3 people signed up to speak this evening. The first is Ms. Gwen Hood.
You got it.
My name is Gwen Hood, and I'm a member of the Burke County Animal Welfare Alliance. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I would like to direct my comments to the ongoing issues and problems of the Burke County Animal Control. We continue to see incidences of incompetency, negligence, and even cruelty. A case in point was on March 3rd. Sophie was just shy of 4 days turning 10 months old, so still a puppy, 15 pounds. She lost her life due to the poor judgment of Burke County Animal Control. Sophie should never have been darted in the first place. The American Humane Manual advises that an animal 25 pounds or less should not be darted with a tranquilizer gun because it is too dangerous to the animal. Some counties, including Catawba, will not even allow an animal to be tranquilized because of the danger. The American Humane Manual also gives very specific dosages for an animal this small if all attempts to safely secure the animal have failed and a sufficient, adequate time to secure that animal safely and humanely has occurred. Sophie never showed any aggression and was not posing a threat to quite a number of witnesses at the school that morning. 2 different veterinarians, as well as the animal control officer's own written report, which was supplied during an investigation, proves that Sophie was overdosed by 7.5 times that she should have been shot with, or dosed with, excuse me. If she had not been found by the Good Samaritan, no one would have ever known. She was just laid out there and decomposed and died on her own. The initial incident report by the animal control officer does not even mention that the animal was tranquilized, does not mention that he tried to find the animal. The initial incident report only says unable to catch stock, which is very different from the more detailed report given after or during the investigation. So which leads us to say or think or question how many animals have been overdosed and left to die by Burke County Animal Control. This is a concern. And even if Sophie did show her teeth to the animal control officer that morning, does it not become more urgent to find her after she has been shot and tranquilized? 1 hour and 12 minutes is what was reported from getting there, arriving there, and leaving. That is not adequate time to follow proper protocol to humanely and safely trap an animal. This was someone's pet. She was healthy, good weight, and even sat still for some pictures. That people were trying to get pictures, to get her picture out there to see if they could find the owner, network for help. She was taking treats, food from people's hands at the time. She was timid and scared, but she was a puppy. So she could have been any one of our pets. She was also wearing a collar. So this was obviously someone's pet. Sophie suffered and she died.
Without objection, gentlemen, I'm going to give her 30 more seconds to finish.
Thank you, Chairman Carswell. Because of an animal control officer's decision. This is not the first time in recent months that a tranquilized animal by Burke County Animal Control has died. Animals should not die from being tranquilized. So this is a huge red flag. It is also disturbing that the Sheriff's Department investigates, in essence, itself. There needs to be accountability. So until the animal control can come under the county manager's department, I beg for the Board of Commissioners, for the county manager, and for Sheriff Wisnant to halt the use of tranquilizers in the field and to implement more strict efforts to ensure safety and humane ways to secure an animal. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Madam Clerk?
Miss Terry Dellinger.
Hi, my name is Terry Dellinger. I'm the owner of Sophie. I was the owner of Sophie, and I'm here to talk about the same incident that happened at the school and the officer and his inadequate performance trying to capture the dog. Within that hour and 12 minutes, he attempted to leash, catch her, trap her twice, so he says. And that don't include the time going back and forth to his truck to get the devices that he would need. So he did not spend adequate time trying to catch her before he darted her. Their recommendations recommend 1 cc per 10 pounds of animal. She weighed 15 pounds. He guessed her weight to be 20 pounds, but he shot her with 3 cc's of Xyzline, which resulted in her death. I have sent her body for necropsy and toxicology report because I'm the one that opened the investigation into animal control's behaviors. I don't know where that's going to go because basically they're investigating themselves. I haven't heard anything from that, but I want this never to happen to another animal. It was devastating. It still is to me that they could do that to a 9-month-old, 15-pound puppy who was just lost and scared. If he would have spent the time he should have to try and capture her, she would still be alive. I don't want this to happen to any other animals. I don't think Burke County Sheriff's Office should be in control of animal control anymore, because it's not animal control, it's animal kill. And that's what they did to my dog. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I volunteered to read Gwen Salvaggio Stevens' comments. She could not be here this evening for health reasons. My name is Gwen Salvaggio Stevens, and I live at 211 Hilltop Street in Rutherford College, North Carolina. Currently, I serve on the Burke County Animal Advisory Board as Vice Chair, and I serve on the Burke County Dangerous Animal Appeals Board. In addition, I am an animal owner and lover of animals. I would like to take a moment to share my thoughts regarding a situation that occurred on March 3rd, 2020, concerning Burke County Animal Control, Burke County citizen Terry Dellinger, and her pet dog, Sophie. I am part of a group in this county that helps to write and revise animal ordinances. Therefore, it is my responsibility to know and understand both county and state ordinances. It is my understanding that this small mountain feist named Sophie weighed 15.9 pounds according to her owner, and it is also my understanding that this little mountain feist wandered off her property and was lost. She was spotted at the George Hildebrand School, and someone called animal control to pick up the dog. It is my understanding that a trap was taken and only less than an hour was spent trying to trap Sophie. Instead, she became afraid of animal control's antics to get her in the trap and bared her teeth. It is also my understanding that Sophie, being afraid, ran, and animal control officer Foster darted Sophie. Several animal professionals, have told me that small dogs such as Sophie quite often do not survive darting because of the small body weight. I fully understand the procedure and need for darting, but not on a dog of this size. Sophie ran after being darted, which most dogs do because of the adrenaline that rushes after the darting action and medication given to her. The dog was left in the cold and rain for over 6 hours until a good Samaritan saw her lying in a ditch. The problem I see with this is that the officer felt she was a danger to others and felt the need to dart her. Then why didn't he take more time in trying to find her and take her back to Burke County Animal Services to be evaluated and treated by a vet for the poison running through her system? Is it not conceivable that she could have awakened and still been a dangerous dog in that area where she was originally a threat? Or did the officer in fact think that the dose he gave her was lethal? Was this an intentional overdose, or was this poor judgment on Officer Foster's behalf? I also understand there was an investigation by the Burke County Sheriff's Department, but how can an entity such as this investigate itself, since animal control is part of Burke County Sheriff's Department? This isn't acceptable. This is the second dog this year that we know about to die because of darting, so I have to question the dosages being calculated. Thank you. That's all the cards I have.
Brian?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have 17 items on your consent agenda. The first is BOC proclamation declaring Youth and Government Day. Number 2, Clerk NCDOT Secondary Roads Resolution. Number 3, Clerk Board of Health removal and appointment. Item 4, Clerk appointment and removals to Recreation Commission. Item 5, County Manager Sheriff's Vehicle Lease with Town of Hildebrand. Item 6, County Manager Resolution granting County Manager authority or authorization to reduce or waive animal services fees. Number 7, County Manager Resolution supporting establishment of Animal Services Foundation. Number 8, County Manager, the Nest, a public-private partnership for wedding and conference venue at Fontaflora County Park. Number 9, Fire Marshal, adoption of revised LEPC bylaws. Number 10, Fire Marshal appointment to the Local Emergency Planning Committee. Item 11, Fire Marshal, request for approval of a lease purchase agreement between Home Trust Bank and Eichard Township Fire Rescue Incorporated. Item 12, Fire Marshal, request for approval of a lease purchase agreement between Home Trust Bank and Oak Hill Fire and Rescue Protection Association Incorporated. Item 13, Health Harbor Lead Grant Contract Approval. Item 14, Tax Department, Tax Collection Report for February 2020. Item 15, Tax Department, Release Refund Report for February 2020. Item 16, Tax Department, Tax Collection Request to change minimum tax bill to $5. And item 17, Tax Department, approval of agreement with Datamax for enforced collections. That concludes your consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. County Manager. Any questions or comments for the County Manager? And if not, we will entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
You heard Wayne's motion to approve all 17 items. All in favor signify by raising the right hands. That'd be 5-0, Madam Clerk. Moving on, item number 10 is our one item for decision tonight. This will be in regards to emergency leave with pay relative to COVID-19, and that's going to be presented by Rhonda Lee, our HR Director. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This agenda abstract was written a little over a week ago, and so things have kind of changed. This situation, as you all know, is moving fluidly, but I'll go ahead and start with what we have so far. But due to the World Health Organization's recent declaration that the novel coronavirus, which is COVID-19, is now a pandemic, and the state of North Carolina's recent declaration of a state of emergency related to the virus, Burke County is working proactively to prepare for the possible event that the virus may present itself in our community and or workplace. In the event a Burke County employee or family member of an employee contracts COVID-19, the employee may be out of work for an extended period of time, and they may or may not have enough accrued sick or vacation leave to cover the extended absence. Due to this extreme situation, it is recommended that the county manager be authorized to approve emergency paid leave for employees who are diagnosed with COVID-19 and or quarantined due to the illness. The county manager's authority to authorize emergency paid leave will be in effect immediately and end once the pandemic is contained. Further, the board is asked to grant the authority to the county manager to approve other recommended emergency actions related to the virus that may be needed but unknown at this time. However, if federal action is taken in the very near future, it may negate the need for this request. I did look into what is being proposed on the federal level, and I'm not sure, JR is looking to that as well, if the county would be covered under those provisions. But that bill has not passed yet, so we're still unsure if the county would be covered by it.
All right, gentlemen, questions?
Rhonda, listening to the news, I believe yesterday afternoon, they were talking about all the people that's not going to be working because they've been told not to work. So, but I also understood, and I think I'm correct, that any law that the state or the federal government is making, if it creates you not to get paid, that they're going to make that up. So my question to you, since I think even since this was delivered to us over the weekend, the governor and the president and several other notable people have said that they were going to see that people would not hurt from this and that they would make up the pay. So it appears to me that there is motions in the work to take care of what you're asking. That if they can't work because the governor recommends that they don't work for 2 weeks, they're supposed to ante up the money to Burke County any other county that needs it, but that's the way I understand it. I don't know if because they were talking about how much money it is. I think they're gonna send the world into a recession because you can't pick money off of trees, but that's what I understand from what has been said on the
And
news.
I agree with you. The only thing, I have read some information just prior to coming to this meeting where it was stating that it would be for employers with 500 employees or less, and we are over that number. So I'm not, for 500 employees or less, and we're over that 500 number employees. So I'm not sure, that's all. I mean, you know, the federal government hasn't passed that yet, and it may change, but at this time, from what I read, and again, the county attorney is looking into that for us as well.
I see where you're coming to, but obviously that would almost be opposite of what they're trying to say, because the people, it should be otherwise by department. You look at Charlotte, how many are they gonna have? From their statement, they said they were gonna be taken care of, so.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
But, I guess my question is, if we need assurance from this board, we might want to make a statement like, provided if the state, the federal government doesn't deliver what they want. But other than that, I don't see a reason for this action from what I heard on TV is what I'm saying. It is supposed to be taken care of by the government. And of course, you and I are the government. They're just going to tax you and me. You know that, don't you?
Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing and seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board on this item?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, I'd add the sentence that I recommended and pass it if they need that for confidence or to tell their people that Burke County will be responsible if the federal government or the state government doesn't follow through.
Ms. County Attorney, did you get that?
Yes, I did. Is Mr. Taylor making the motion to accept this motion, but with additional language?
Yes, he wants additional language.
Okay, could you tell us that again?
That Burke County's responsibility becomes valid if the state or the federal doesn't deliver on their promises, I guess.
Okay. So you have Mr. Taylor's motion before the board.
Mr. Taylor's amended motion.
Well, it's his motion.
His motion.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions or comments regarding Mr. Taylor's motion? The chair will accept that motion. All in favor of Mr. Taylor's motion signify by raising the right hands. All against? That passes 3-2.
The motion passed?
Yes, it passed 3-2.
I didn't see
It was
Mr. Britton vote.
Commissioner Taylor, Commissioner, and Mr. Britton. So it's 3-2. Got it? Okay, sir. Got it?
Got
All
it.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. All right, moving on to item number 11 is our reports and comments for this afternoon. Let's start over to the right. Commissioner Abley.
No comments.
Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, in addition to the 5 committees that I meet, and you have the information, Also attended Stephanie Norman's birthday event on 2/29, on 2/27. Soil and Water Special Awards Program. Johnny was there also at the community house. And on 3/18, attended Burke County's Cattlemen's annual meeting, and Mr. Carswell and Mr. Steen was there. And I'll make one other comment. I have, Mr. Chairman, if you gentlemen want it, a copy of the information that I received to do my numbers on, and the numbers and the math that she did on the jail that were used in that report, if you'd like a copy of it.
Any other comments? Mr. Britton? Mr. Vice Chair?
Just want to say happy St. Patty's Day to everyone. Trying to lighten the mood a little bit. It's been a tough couple of weeks for everyone, but please know we'll get through this. And so, anyway, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I would encourage folks to listen to authorities and take their precautions and just watch what you're doing on an everyday basis and pay attention to those around you. So anyway, I hope everyone stays safe. Happy St. Patty's Day, and that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Mr. County Attorney?
Yes, sir. Since the last meeting of commissioners on February 18th, these are some of the highlights of the legal services provided. We completed changes to the First Responders Emergency Medical Service Agreement, which is a standard contract now for all volunteer fire departments which provide first responder medical services. Completed a memorandum of understanding proposed with Alpine Mill LLC concerning their dig agreement. I attended the Commissioners' Retreat in Blowing Rock on February 20th and 21st. I received and made changes to the proposed Town of Hildebrand lease agreement for a sheriff's deputy vehicle that the board approved tonight. All right. Researched the registered deeds problem with persons presenting documents for registration with inaccurate or fraudulent excise tax payment, and I stand ready to take civil action against those folks if current law enforcement declines to criminally prosecute. I reviewed the proposed operation and maintenance agreement for sand filters at the new jail. I reviewed the proposed amendments to the animal control ordinance and met with a working group to discuss weakness in the proposed amendments. I reviewed the latest litigation updates concerning gambling devices in the Sand Hill Amusement litigation and its potential effects on Burke County. I am in the process now of amending the 4 contracts that make up the Harbor Lead grants with Burke Recovery, Catawba Valley Behavioral Health, the Cognitive Connection, and with Burke United Christian Ministries. I'm in the process of preparing civil litigation against Robert Cook and Ronnie Franklin concerning the operation of the junkyard under conditions that violate the county's zoning ordinance and the county's environmental compliance ordinance. I'm in the process of investigating and researching the Lee Flynn matter with actions that could be taken and are advisable to be taken in this matter. I have met with folks and prepared contracts concerning certain matters that I understand we will be discussing in closed session tonight. And those are my highlights for the past month.
None for me, thank you.
Can I do a postscript
Yes,
right
sir.
past? I did my census today. It was easy as pie. It's easier than answering a doorbell and answering to somebody else. So if you haven't filled out your census report, get online and do it. It's easy.
Mr. County Manager, you want to speak to our meeting this morning with emergency management and health? I'll go ahead and speak to it then. We did have a joint meeting this morning with the health department and our emergency management services. That meeting was one of the very first meetings relative to the COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud of the work that these folks have done. We have a plan of action in Burke County ready to go. Mike and Rebecca have moved in over at the 911 center. That will be headquarters for our response to COVID-19. Currently, I want to report this, that there are no cases that have been identified in Burke County as of today. We did decide to make one repository for information. That will be through Lisa Moore. She will get that information and stay in contact with the news media by 4 o'clock each day, so that will be information coming from each of the entities that are involved. That will be reported with a new website that we've set up called COVID-19, and that information will come in from the schools, it'll come in from EMS, it'll come in from Broughton Hospital, all the entities inside Burke County, and that will come to one location so that we can inform the people of this county with one message each day that comes from all the other entities. Mike, did I miss anything? Rebecca, did I miss anything? Okay. Appreciate the work that we're doing on that, and we all just need to keep continuing praying that this virus will eventually go away and we can get back to some normalcy. All right, this time I want to mention on March 24th, 2020 at 9 a.m., if we continue on the route we're taking, we are still going to do our special meeting at the courthouse to do a tour to see the new Sally Port area. We need to assemble at the front of the door at the courthouse. And then at 10:30, we'll have our grand opening, Sally Port, at the rear of the courthouse. Look for the balloons, Kay says, at the back of the courthouse. That is still on schedule for right now. We expect not too many people to be there, so we won't be violating any of the recommended numbers in a gathering. Okay, you want to go with your vacancy announcements?
My pleasure. We have the current opportunities for citizens to get involved in county government, the Adult Care and Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee, Council on Aging, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, City of Morganton Board of Adjustment Planning Board for the ETJ, Voluntary Agriculture Board, Burke County Board of Adjustment and Planning Board, Western Piedmont Regional Transit Authority Transportation Advisory Board, Partners Behavioral Health Management, Burke Senior Center Advisory Council, and the Recreation Commission.
Thank you, Kay. And for those that are watching at home, these opportunities are out there, and I would encourage you to seek one of these boards and help us out as much as you can. And please let me remind you to pick up a piece of garbage along the highway and have your pet spayed or neutered. Gentlemen, we do have a need for a closed session tonight pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11, paragraph A, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I would encourage media to remain. There probably will be a motion when we come out. So I need a motion to go into closed session. All right, let's take about 5 minutes and then go into closed. All right, there was a proper motion to come out of closed session back into regular session. At this time, the chair will entertain any motions.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve purchase of 17.25 plus minus acres of real property, PIN numbers 2762-39-1011 and 2762-29-7057 for a future container site and approximately $178,350, $148,350 for the land, and up to $30,000 due diligence surveys, soil testing, and so forth, from projected additional solid waste revenues.
All right, gentlemen, you've heard Commissioner Taylor's motion. All in favor, signify by raising the right hand. All opposed. Madam Clerk, that passes 5-0. If there's nothing else to come before us, I will entertain a motion to adjourn by Wayne, 5-0. Madam Clerk, to adjourn.